the song now for the past 3 weeks that we've done
I
this.
know, like I forget it every time just because like I'm super
You make a
slow, but
new
I think it's something
rendition.
like, "Hey, here we go. It's the J and A show. What are we gonna talk about this week?" Yeah. No, I don't know. But I think the topic today, man, is a good one. It's something that we hear as an organization from our clients more and more, and it's the buyer leads, right? It's the buyer side. Now, for the last couple of years, we always said buyers are liars, but are they really? So I think it was a really good topic that you brought up as an idea today, Andy, to kind of wrap about. So tell me a little bit about what you guys are hearing, from a buyer perspective. Why are buyers an ideal candidate?
I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach with it. Obviously, on the real estate side, there's obvious benefits to the buy piece, right?
Yep.
Um, but let's just put this on the table. Buyers provide, and sellers honestly as well, but buyers provide so much referral opportunity on the real estate piece that it allows you to actually build out a significantly more robust business to business network as well. So outside of just going out and trying to find the other buyers and potentially pay for Facebook ads or look at the big Z or
Yeah.
whatever
Some of
other
the other,
lead
yeah.
sources out there. I mean, the Ramsey leads, and I'll just name them because I think it's important for people to understand what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Like Dave Ramsey, they're charging $350 a month plus a 35% referral fee. There's so much out there in terms of, hey, if you can pay, then you can play. But some of the stuff that you guys are pulling, it allows them to actually go and form a relationship to get them well before that they're actually looking to purchase. And I think again, that's where a lot of the relationship that you and I have and how you guys have it with the other agents that you're working with, they're able to manipulate it and say, hey, listen, I need someone who might have had a family event and you know what, they have good credit, or maybe it's a military, or maybe it's
Right.
two family income or whatever that is, and actually get to a little bit more of the nitty gritty of who their ideal buyer is. So they're not just trying to fish for any single buyer. They're actually getting the people
Right.
that they want to work with.
The targeted buyer that they want to go after. And I think that's such an important piece. And I think a lot of like, we talk to these agents that are like, hey, I have a buyer, like I have someone that wants to buy this specific type of house. So they go in it with a little different approach, knowing that, hey, if you do list your house, we already have someone that wants to buy it. Let's
Yeah.
figure out that price and let's go. But you also touched on something a few minutes ago too, that it allows you to customize, who you're comfortable in working with. And then in some cases, the data allows you to go after, a type of buyer that's, fairly new, maybe a young college graduate, a young married couple that has a career, has good credit, has high income, but hasn't pulled that American dream
Right.
card yet. And more now, I think is, everything's settled down a little bit and the inventory's picking back up, that these are ideal candidates for agents to
This is the
start
time, man.
with. Yeah. So
This is the time.
we're creating like a lead inventory report. We have one for obviously on the listing side. We also, the seller side, we also have one, and we're working on for the buyer side. So a couple of the categories like we talked about.
Go more into it. Like, tell a little bit
Yeah.
more, because I love this stuff. I love
Yeah, so
how
the
you guys are
categories that we
starting to
can
narrow
talk
this
about,
down.
like here's a couple just from a high level, but like what I just mentioned, the young professionals, they're out of college that are looking to build a family, start a family, get married, that are currently renting. So we know that there's a renter flag on their record. We know what their income is. We know what their credit score is. We know that they're an ideal candidate to be, a first-time home buyer. There's also segments of ages out there, some empty nest apartment livers that do want to go back to the home life. That could be a segment of that renter category.
Mhm.
Another, we have a likely to sell category. I mean, a likely to buy. So on the likely to sell, we also have a likely to buy. And so we take a lot of the data characteristics and build an algorithm that we have identified these homeowners. These are actual
Mhm.
homeowners that are ultimately likely to buy.
So
The
is
other
that
thing,
like more of a move up, move down, or what's that?
yeah, more of a move up. I
Okay.
think, like, we already kind of have the downsizers
That's a
where you're
sweet
forced,
list.
yeah, where you're forced to move down, right? But now, like the families that are forced to move up, right? So you have square footage, number of children, age of children, you kind of know that these guys are splitting at the
So
same.
you have two potential transactions because you have the sale and you have the buy on that list.
On that list. Yeah, exactly. So you can start either at the beginning where you just have the renter that doesn't have any property to ultimately sell,
Yeah.
or do you find the likely to buy category, which you can ultimately, you said, double dip. So you can get the selling, the listing, and then the purchase transaction. The last one, not the last one, but the other one I wanted to highlight that's pretty exciting too in some cases for the seasoned agent, the more qualified agent, but is like a absentee owner, like 3+ database. So someone that owns like 2 or more or 3 or more absentee owner properties, to me, are ideal candidates that are likely to buy because they're looking to maybe build
More so build out their portfolio.
yeah, their portfolio, or if they're owning a couple or 3 or more absentee properties, that would be an ideal candidate to be like, hey man, I have this quadplex, or a duplex or a single family dwelling, would you like to add that to your inventory, kind of thing. So there's a lot of ways we can twist and turn the data from being a likely to sell lead like we always do to ultimately likely to buy, and that's the advantage of trying to double dip those transactions.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's interesting. So if you had an agent, you were talking with them, how would you navigate them to pick a list, or how would you help them understand how to either narrow down the criteria or which list to essentially start from?
yeah, that's a great question, because we talk about this internally as an organization of like, we are the experts, so we need to be those experts in what's going on right now. And so what I would recommend is depending on budget, but I would recommend some owner occupied, non-owner occupied data to utilize to prospect with. So absentee owners, whatever the flavor might be, or whatever the niche within that data set, and then also the owner occupied stuff. If you're a younger agent wanting to work with smaller families and are younger families, and we can build out a data set that these are owner occupied, motivated to buy and or sell homeowners. And so the data really speaks to the agent on what they're comfortable with. Once we identify, the market that they're really wanting to work with, what have they done, what are their experiences, then we'll come back and say, here's what you need to do, and here's the total number of records that you need to buy. And then, if you lay an egg, then you call me back and we'll start over and we'll help you out. But 99%
I don't think that's going to happen.
no one's laying an egg, man. Everyone's
going to happen.
Yeah,
we see it on the dial side as well. I mean, and I can't emphasize. I was just looking through YouTube the other day because I do a lot of comparative research as to like,
sure.
Hey, what are other data companies saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, man, you and I have riffed on this quite a bit, and we've done all the side-by-side stuff. We've looked at all the big name real estate data providers and everything else, and there is no comparison. I wish that people would actually know that and understand that. And
I know, right?
I can't say it enough. And if people want the hard data, man, I'll send them the hard data. It doesn't matter. But
I love that. You're one of our biggest advocates with digging in and seeing how the data performs, and that's the actionable item that we love to share. There's another one that these guys loaded in 690 absentee owners into their CRM, communicated with the data less than 30 days. They were able to get $3.5 million in listings.
That's awesome.
From the leads within that 690 leads. Now, does it happen every time? No, but is it happening? Absolutely. And if you don't build it, they don't come. So if you don't pick up the phone and call them, they won't answer.
Walking through the cornfield.
Yes, exactly. Have you seen that TikTok song about corn now? Like it's some trend and shit. It's so bad, but somehow it's on my algorithm because I live in Nebraska. But this little kid singing about corn, and it's stuck in my head. So
I have not seen that, but hey,
Yeah, now that we talked about it,
it'll definitely happen.
Yeah, it'll be popping up on your For You page.
Jeez Louise.
I love it. But no, that's good shit, man. I think at the end of the day here, just as a quick little session with you, buddy, is there's different data available for every agent, and whatever you're comfortable with and what you want to start with, or if you don't know, let's have a conversation either with myself or Andy or both, and let's identify a game plan and follow through, because the execution is where the money is made. So
So happy you said that, dude. As
Hey,
always, my friend, it's always fun. And
it is.
again, I can't encourage agents enough to just explore the opportunity with some of these buyer leads too. Again, with the changing market that we're experiencing right now, the more buyers, the more inventory you have on the listing side as well, the better off you guys will be. Again, as the market starts to soften up, the more people inside of your 90-day pipeline, the better off people will end up being long term.
Amen. It's a numbers game, buddy, but you got to do the work. So I
Yeah,
appreciate
dude.
you, Andy. The
Brother,
J
man.
and H show has concluded. We'll talk again in a couple of weeks, brother. Have a
Yes,
wonderful day.
sir. You too,
All
man.
right. Peace, homie.